I speak about matriarchies as mother-centered societies. Matriarchies are not just a reversal of patriarchy with women ruling over men, as the usual misinterpretation would have it. Matriarchies are mother-centered societies. They are based on maternal values, caregiving, nurturing, motherliness, which holds for everybody, for mothers and those who are not mothers, for women and men alike. The matriarchal concept of motherliness is not the romantic image so often portrayed in patriarchy, a fiction that devalues the notion of motherliness and makes it appear merely sentimental. This reflects a systematic effort to obscure the fact that motherhood is the most important function in each society. The matriarchal concept of matriarchal societies are consciously built upon maternal values and motherly work. And this is why they are much more realistic than patriarchies. They are, on principle, need-oriented. Their precepts aim to meet everyone's needs with the greatest benefit. So, in matriarchies, mothering, which originates as a biological fact, is transformed into a cultural model. This model is much more appropriate to the human condition than the way patriarchies conceptualize motherhood and use it to make women, and especially mothers, into slaves. This is the subject of modern matriarchal studies, which investigate and present matriarchal societies from all over the world. These investigations focus not only on the past, but also pay attention to still existing societies with matriarchal patterns in Asia, Africa, the Americas, and the Pacific area. Contrary to common belief, none of these is a mere reversal of patriarchy. Rather, they are all gender egalitarian societies, and many of them are fully egalitarian. This means they have no hierarchies, classes, nor domination of one gender by the other. With matriarchal cultures, equality means more than just a leveling of differences. Natural differences between the genders and the generations are respected and honored, but they never serve to create hierarchies, as is common in patriarchy. The different genders and generations have their own dignity, and through complementary areas of activity, they function in concert with one another. This can be observed on all levels of society: the economic level, the social level, the political level, and the areas of their world views and faiths. More precisely, matriarchies are societies with complementary equality, where great care is taken to provide a balance. This applies to the balance between genders among generations and between humans and nature. And maternal values as ethical principles pervade all areas of a matriarchal society. It creates an attitude of caretaking, nurturing, and peacemaking. Now I would like to present you with the deep structure of matriarchal society. At the social level, matriarchal societies are based on the clan and on the symbolic order of the mother. This also means maternal values as a spiritual principle, one that humans take from nature. Mother Nature cares for all beings, however different they may be. The same applies to motherliness. A good mother cares for all her children, embracing their diversity. This holds true for men as well. If a man in a matriarchal society desires to acquire status among his peers, or even become a representative of the clan to the outside world, then he must be like a good mother, as the matriarchal Minangkabau of Sumatra say. But in matriarchies, you don't have to be a biological mother in order to be respected as a woman, because matriarchies practice common motherhood of a group of sisters. Each individual sister does not necessarily have to have children, but together they are all mothers of any children that any of them have. This motherhood is founded on the freedom of women to decide on their own about whether or not to have biological children. This is possible because matriarchal people live together in large kinship groups formed according to the principle of matrilineality. The clan's name and all social status and political titles are passed on through the mother's line. Such a matriclan consists of at least 3 generations of women, along with their brothers, nephews, and maternal uncles. In classic cases, the matriclan, or a lineage of a clan, lives in one big clan house. This is called matrilocality. Their spouses or lovers stay only overnight, in a pattern called visiting marriage. These principles of matrilineality and matrilocality put mothers at the center. In this way, women guide their clans without ruling. In order to achieve social cohesion among the clans of a village or town, complex marriage conventions have been developed that link them in mutually beneficial ways. The intended effect is that all inhabitants of a village or town are related to each other by birth or by marriage. This shapes a society that sees itself as a big clan where everybody is mother or sister or brother to everybody else. Thus, matriarchies are non-hierarchical, horizontal societies of matrilineal kinship. This social order based on motherhood includes far-reaching consequences for the economical level. Matriarchal economy is a subsistence economy. There is no such thing as private property, and there are no territorial claims. The people simply have usage rights on the soil they till or the pastures their animals graze. For Mother Earth cannot be owned or cut up in pieces. She gives the fruits of the fields and the young animals to all people. Parcels of land and a certain number of animals are given to each matriclan and are worked on communally. Most importantly, women have the power of disposition over goods and clan houses, and especially over the sources of nourishment, fields, flocks, and food. This is the important distinction which makes a society a matriarchal one and differentiated from merely matrilineal ones. All the goods are put in the hands of the clan mother, the matriarch, and she distributes them equally among her children and grandchildren. She is responsible for the sustenance and protection of all clan members. In a matriarchal community, the clans enjoy perfect mutuality. Every relative advantage or disadvantage in terms of acquiring good is mediated by social guidelines. For example, at the seasonal festivals of the agricultural year, clans that are comparatively better off will invite all the inhabitants to be their guests. The members of such a clan organize the banquet, the rituals, and the music and dances of one of the annual festivals, and then give away their goods as gift to all their neighbors. By doing this, they gain nothing except honor. At the next festival in the cycle, another lucky clan will step up, outdoing itself by inviting everybody in the village or neighborhood, entertaining them all, and dispensing presents. Since this is the general attitude, matriarchal economy can be called a gift economy. It is the economic manifestation of maternal values, which prevents development of an exchange economy and instead fully achieves a gift economy as Genevieve Vaughan has formulated it. Due to these features, matriarchies can be called societies of economic reciprocity based on the circulation of gifts. The patterns of the political level follow the principle of consensus, which means unanimity regarding each decision. To manifest a principle like this in practice, a society must be specifically organized to do so, and matrilinear kinship lines are once again the starting point. The basis of each decision-making is the individual clan house. Matters that concern the clan house are decided upon by the women and men in a consensus process of which the matriarch is the facilitator. Each person has only one vote, even the matriarch, and no member of the household is excluded. The same applies to decisions concerning the whole village or town. The clan delegates meet together in the village council but do not make decisions themselves. They simply communicate the decisions that have been made in their clan houses and move back and forth until a consensus decision is reached by the whole village or town. The same applies on the regional level. The delegates move between the local council and the regional council back and forth until consensus of all the villages and towns in this area is reached. The origin of all politics is the clan house, is in the clan houses, where the people live. And in this way, a true grassroots democracy is put into practice. The result of these practices is that matriarchies are egalitarian societies of consensus. This clearly shows how maternal values also permeate political practice. But such a societal system as matriarchy could not function as a whole without a deep, supporting and all-permeating spiritual attitude. At the spiritual and cultural level, matriarchal societies do not have hierarchical religions based on an omnipotent male god. In matriarchies, divinity is immanent, for the whole world is regarded as divine, as feminine divine. This is evident in the widely held concept of the universe as the great goddess, who brought forth everything by birth, or of the earth as great mother who created everything living. And everyone and everything is endowed with divinity by virtue of being a child of the great mother nature. In such a culture, everything is spiritual. In the festivals which follow the cycle of the seasons and the cycle of life, everything is celebrated. There is no separation between sacred and secular, so the everyday tasks also have ritual significance. In this sense, matriarchal societies are sacred ones. So we can see here that the entire societies are constructed in the image of the creative Mother Nature. Mother Nature is our teacher, as the Minangkabau of Sumatra say. This divine mother is reflected in every woman's being and in her abilities to create. Every social, economic and political action is informed by the principle of the world's all-encompassing maternal attitude. Therefore, on the spiritual level, matriarchies are sacred societies and cultures of the divine feminine or goddess. Now I would like to show you some pictures of women of matriarchal societies. At first, a woman of the Iroquois peoples of Northeast America. All these nations and peoples of the Iroquois and many other of North America have been matriarchal and partly still are. Here, a Hopi grandmother. The Hopi belong to the Pueblo peoples of the southwestern region of North America, all of which have been matriarchal until recently. Women of the city of Cochitan. It is an indigenous city of about 10,000, I hope that's correct, 10,000 inhabitants at the Pacific coast of Mexico, and the Cochitecan people are organized along matriarchal patterns. Tuareg women of North Africa. The Tuareg peoples live all over the Sahara Desert and have maintained matriarchal patterns. A queen mother and her daughter of one of the Akan people in West Africa. The Akan are a big group of peoples in Ghana maintaining a matriarchal social order. The queen mother is the head and the speaker of all women of her people. Kasi peasant women collecting the harvest. The Kasi and their neighboring peoples are matriarchal and live on the Kasi hills in northwest India. Mozo women dancing a sacred dance. The Mozo people have maintained classical matriarchal patterns and live in southwest China, in Yunnan, close to the Tibetan border. In 1993, I have been so lucky to do research with them on their fascinating social order, and I wrote a book about their culture. It's not translated in English. I read it. There still exist several other matriarchal peoples around the world, many more, but I didn't bring pictures of all of them. Now, at the closing of my speech, I would talk about matriarchal politics, giving some very short ideas and suggestions. In 1986, I founded the International Academy Hagia, Academy for Matriarchal Studies and Matriarchal Spirituality in Germany. It is dedicated to the exploration of matriarchal societies past and present and their worldwide existence. In that way, modern matriarchal studies developed as a new social cultural field of knowledge. Many women participated in the teachings and the knowledge about matriarchal societies spread. Later, 2 world congresses on matriarchal studies followed, which were guided by me, and here the research on matriarchal societies was presented to a wider public by international scholars. In 2003, the first congress, titled Societies in Balance, took place in Luxembourg in Europe, and the second one, titled Societies of Peace, was held in 2005 in San Marcos, Texas. Both congresses, but especially the second one, brought together indigenous researchers, mostly women and some men, from many of the world's still existing matriarchal societies. Through all these activities, it is becoming increasingly clear that this radically different model of matriarchal cultures will have great significance for our future as women and mothers. Therefore, I would like to make some suggestions for a new mother-centered, egalitarian and peaceful societies to explain what we mean by matriarchal politics. Of course, we cannot imitate traditional matriarchal societies.